Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to In the Studio with Shivansh. Today I have with me Ms. Zoya. She is an architect and urban planner, and she mostly works in the disaster management and climate change sector. I myself don't have a lot of knowledge about it. She will take me through it. Please, thanks for doing this.
My
And
pleasure.
let's dive into this. Can you tell me how you got into this particular field?
Okay, so it's a little longer of a story. So usually people don't know about urban planning, architecture, तो फिर भी now people know. And disaster management तो बिल्कुल ही people don't know.
Right.
So while I was during my internship, while I was doing my architecture, I was working in Surat for a while. So both of us, like you will also relate to it, I would say. I'm from Lucknow. So being brought up in Lucknow and Delhi and all of those places, you don't know what disasters are because we come from a privileged geography, I would say. We don't face extremes of any disaster. For us, it's just a news. For me, also, it was just a news. Tsunami aaya, people are affected. It's okay, like that's how they live, is what you believe in. But while I was working in Surat, um, flooding is a frequent issue there
Okay.
because it's a coastal city, and because of heavy rains and climate change, it became a huge issue for people. People were losing lives. There have been huge floods there in the history. So while I was working there, even though it was an architecture and urban design firm, I got introduced to how disasters affect people.
Okay.
And that aspect interested me a lot because it was a total new window for me.
Right.
Like I never related ki what is it. So then I went back ki okay, what do I do that I get to work here, like in this field and in this sector. So then I got introduced to urban planning, which I did my master's in. So I did my bachelor's in architecture, master's in urban planning, and while I was doing urban planning, which is a huge field in itself, I went slowly towards disasters and all of those things.
Okay. So like people, I've seen people usually get into the designing the buildings and all.
Yeah. So always the urban scale attracted me more. Like from the very first internship that I did in architecture. So while it's a 5-year course, we have 2 times that we have to intern with people. So once my first project was a tourism plan for Ayodhya. So even if you go to Ayodhya, it has a lot of beautiful ghats and all of that. So from there, that maybe connection with water, with people, like how can you make the life of people easier? So like if you see an architect will design a building or a experience if it's a complex, ki how do you feel when you enter a well designed building, or a complex will have that. I was always more interested in that. I never cared how the building looks. I was more into how do you feel, how can it be easier. So I think the better way to bring that up was enter into an urban space. And I think my internships, and I think I just kept stumbling on things that way, like going into water, going into urban design, urban planning. I also worked for villages. So when you go there, then you understand ki, okay, how things for me and you are different than people who are getting affected on a daily basis.
Right. This does sound like it kind of builds a deeper connection with the
On ground communities.
right. Huh.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about more about your projects a little.
Right. So, if I broadly talk about my projects, then I have worked on everything ranging from a disaster management plan to how to respond, like how should the government respond when a disaster strikes, plans for the departments, like there are specific departments you work on that, like mostly government consultancy projects. I've also worked on ground with these kind of communities and people who are affected by disasters, and we help them cope with it or come up with a solution that can help them.
So you stay with them.
Yeah, we stay with them, we talk to them, we try and build their confidence first in us. So it's more of a NGO work that you would see people doing. So we empower those NGOs, we go ourselves and talk to them. So all of those kind of things, how can we make inclusive plans, because a lot of plans today are not inclusive enough. For example, a woman would not be included enough, or a person with disability would not be included enough, or caste based inclusion is not there. So we can come up and at least do a little to bring it together and make it a more inclusive plan. So it ranges from a lot of things: climate action plans, risk assessments, designing particular solution for a particular community in a particular place, like very micro to very macro.
Right. So you worked with floods,
Yeah.
like a lot of work with floods, and what other disasters?
So flood has been something that I've related to a lot because Surat, it started from Surat. Then I worked in Kochi for a while because Kochi also, you would have heard, in 2018 the airport was also shut. The floods was so bad.
Okay.
So I worked for 6 months in Kochi with a local organization there. It was a part of my college project, but similar to that. Then, so flooding has been that place, and we as Delhiites are facing urban floods every year.
Right. We're not acknowledging it.
Yes, we have just accepted it. कि हाँ ये तो होता ही है. This is normal. पानी तो भरेगा ही. So we are ourselves facing it. So that's one thing. But apart from that, there's landslides, there are earthquakes, there are heat waves, which we don't talk about. And heat waves were not even considered a natural disaster till last year. Now it's finally a natural disaster, and most of the states have declared it as a disaster.
Right.
Actually, natural disaster is a wrong term to say, a disaster. So, so heat waves, we face it too.
And now, like, I'm realizing Delhi experiences all the disasters.
Yeah.
And
We actually experience it very subtly. So we never acknowledge it. And these are the disasters which maybe we as privileged people won't feel as much as a person who is living in a slum or in a, informal settlement would feel. Heat waves, for example. For me and you, we can switch on our air conditioners and can sit inside. We can choose not to go out. But a construction worker has to go out. And worse is that a woman who is not working has to be inside their homes and cook. Because cooking is again generating heat. Their houses are so bad that, in so many cases that we've worked at, the indoor heat is much more than outdoor heat. So a person inside is facing much more problems than a person who is working outside. But we'll never acknowledge it. And the woman is not allowed to go outside. Like from these societies, they cannot sit outside and take in some air or just get a breathable space. So heat waves are something that is really rising. People don't acknowledge it because it's not it's not causing a direct problem. And it's a more of a longer, prolonged problem that's happening. Like if a person dies by heart attack in summers, they'll say you are dying because of heart attack. But actually it is because of the heat, continuous exposure of heat and humidity that has caused that person breathlessness or the problem of other issues, which is bringing it there.
right.
And like a very interesting thing, if you see, even here, कि माथा बहुत गर्म हो रहा है, it actually possesses a lot of problem on your mental health. So heat, अगर गर्मी है बाहर, you'll fight. The chances of you fighting with that person is much more than when you are in a Shimla or a nice.
Yes, I was recently watching a stand-up. Like this guy was talking about Delhi summers. Everyone is like this.
Yeah.
Please don't talk to me. And everyone is angry, not in
Yeah.
a great mood.
Exactly.
So yes, there's a deeper reason to it. And also there's no rainy season as such in Delhi. There is, of course, August, July, like we experience rains, but there's rain throughout the year in Delhi,
Yeah.
whenever. So could that be another reason?
Yeah, it's all coming from climate change. Climate is changing. We have, I think, talked a lot about it. It's just that we need to now step up, and at least we as our generation can do it for the next generation. So we are not doing enough still, I would say. But at least there are steps that are being taken and we are slowly progressing. But with that little rain also, we are experiencing urban flooding.
Exactly. People are not thinking about it because
Yeah.
it's little.
It's little and we are not being affected a lot. But COVID, everyone was affected equally, which is why there was so easy and quick solutions. It was a rich man's thing. But heat wave, I can switch on my AC and sit in my car, go to any office, corporates, government, private, everyone has an air conditioner. Why are we affected? It's the people who are doing it, right? On ground, on communities. So people don't care till the time it's coming on you. And sometimes even not then. For example, air pollution. It's such a huge thing right now in Delhi. But how much do we do every year? We are doing our own air purifiers inside. We'll put a mask when we are going outside. But that's it. How are we talking about it on a national level?
Right. I've been wearing a mask like since it has been 7 years, I think. I started wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And yes.
Yeah, even imagine when LA mein fires happened. The AQI reached to 125 or 250. I might be wrong with my numbers. But it was, declared emergency, and the pollution is so high, you'll die of it. Wear mask, do this, do that. And we are doing it daily. Jahan 100 hoti hai, we are happy. Oh, aaj to 100 hai. It's not 450 today.
Last year around November, December, it went crazy. Like,
1800 and all.
I could not believe कि हो सकता है ऐसा.
And our noses, and you could feel it in your throat and noses that you're not able to breathe. It was very bad. But still, when it went, we are now chilling. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's doing enough efforts, I would say, to bring that down. And it affects everyone equally. You can be protected in your homes, but where all can you be protected?
Right. Is there any project that you connected with very much?
Yeah.
Or do you want something to work on in the future?
So I think there are a lot of been these stories, these small anecdotes that I would say which attracted me more towards this field and wanted me to work more towards it. For example, there's one, I would say, in Sundarbans. I went to Sundarbans, and this is not the touristy wala area. This was a very small village, remote village, where the road has yet not reached.
Okay.
So you have to take a boat and reach there. It's that kind of a remote village. And storms and cyclones are a yearly thing. Water, rainwater and all of that is a yearly thing. And they have kind of accepted it. Ki we are in this geography, we'll face it every year. So the government makes cyclone shelters everywhere in these prone areas that, okay, when a disaster like this arrives, you can go into these shelters and take a refuel. Till the time some help arises or anything else comes
It's
up.
every year.
It's every year. So it's a normal thing for them. So it was very surprising to know that in a government shelter like that, there was the people of scheduled tribes, because they belong to a certain caste, scheduled tribes, they were not allowed to enter those cyclone shelters. They were left to die. You can die, you can do whatever, but we won't let you enter this storm shelter. Who to blame? You cannot blame the government here, because the government has made what had to be done.
Right.
But you're not, social inclusion is not there. So what do you do? So there we worked with this local NGO. They made a different storm shelter and they asked these tribes to come and contribute. So when you build it yourself, it's a back of your mind, you have that psychology ki I own it.
It's yours.
So it's mine. So because of that, they could own that space. They even shifted their school there. Like when there is no storm and there's nothing, they'll sit there and work and study because they felt included.
This is so nice.
Yeah, these are like very small things. And it'll take years and years to bring about that change in the mindset of people, especially in these remote areas. But I think it's a good start to at least just make them feel included. So imagine you're not being included just because you belong to a certain caste. And even if you're dying, it's a disaster, you die, okay. But you won't be allowed to come in. So those kind of situations are there. There are so many other examples. Like if I start telling you one, if I talk about Indonesia, I last year went there and there's a mountain there, Mount Merapi, which is an active volcano. So every day it erupts.
Okay.
So even when I was there, it erupted.
Every day?
Every day it erupts. It's just that it's not huge enough to harm anyone nearby. The last huge eruption was 2010. So it has been around 15 years. But genetically, you can still see that people who are, the kids who are born, they are born disabled. There's some kind of a disability in them. It's not their fault. It's no one else's fault. It's just one thing, a natural disaster that's occurring. And people don't have maybe enough resources to shift those communities anywhere else or train them enough for early warning systems or anything of that sort. So there are so many smaller things where people, it's not their fault and they can't do much about it, but
they're suffering for
they're suffering.
Right. I went to Bombay last year and I think I went in October. So Delhi में तो it was very pleasant, अच्छा सा मौसम होता है. Plus even if it's hot in Delhi, it's different.
Yeah.
I forgot कि different होगा. So I was very happy. I landed. Jesse, I got out of the airport and तभी it hit. कुछ तो it's just कि okay, I'm sweating already.
Yeah.
And kind of feels like कि something is pressing against you. इतनी humidity होती है and
Correct.
it's so different. So
Yeah, that's exactly what I was mentioning, that heat and humidity is worse than only heat. So like right now, if in May, June, when it's only heat, you go outside in Delhi, if I talk about, even if, it's very hot, you take a cloth with you, which is wet cloth. You put it on your face. It'll give you a cooling effect. Because जो हवा आ रही है, that will cool, मतलब ये पानी से contact में आके, it'll cool you down. So you'll feel better, which is how it is in Jaipur, Hawa Mahal. Whole concept that why Hawa Mahal is so thanda is this.
yeah.
So likewise, you'll see it in desert coolers. Why it works so well in this loo wala time. So heat wave still, that way you can just heat. But when it is combined with humidity, it's worse. Because then you don't want water. That's when desert coolers also fail. You only need an air conditioner to cool it down. So even like you just need circulation. अगर हवा का circulation नहीं है, then you will just be breathless.
Right.
Yeah, people have heart attacks because they become breathless. You have to wear the right kind of clothes which help you breathe properly, which just lets the air pass through your body. Else वो पसीने से you'll become you won't get that fresh air, you won't have that much enough oxygen.
I didn't think about it. Clothes be
Yeah.
changed. Different clothes पहनने हो.
Yeah, different
Okay.
clothes, like more breathable. So if you see all the coastal belt that we have, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, everywhere, if you'll see, those are coastal places जहाँ पर humidity बहुत होती है. So their vernacular houses, their traditional houses have big verandas, big openings for the air to pass. They'll wear those lungis and like very light fabrics, cotton. You see Tamil Nadu, Kerala, they wear those lungis and very soft. So I think that all came from this.
Right.
They have to wear it to breathe and
Got
just
it.
be there.
Yes. I think I didn't do Mumbai right when I was there. So, all right. Coming back to flooding. I also went to Kerala. And why do you think flooding has increased over these past years? And pehle to I don't think कि
Yeah.
it was such a huge problem.
Yeah, so in Kerala, I think Kochi is one place which floods almost every year. And 2018, like I mentioned, was the year when the airports also shut because the flooding was so bad. So I think that's why I feel that we should not call these disasters as natural disasters because they're no more natural. Naturally, yes, pehle historically it was like कि 30 years में एक बार floods आते हैं, 20 years में आते हैं. That was just to make the agricultural land more fertile. So floods आएंगे, they'll bring all the soil and all the nutrients. Maybe technicalities can be wrong, what do they bring exactly? But they bring back all the nutrients, make that zameen upjao again, fertile again, and then they go back. So
Right.
that's why flooding was important in like 20-30 years when the soil loses
That's
its
what
capacity.
we were taught in school.
Yes, that's how it should be.
Huh.
But right now, because of the human interactions and human छेड़खानी जो बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में, because of that it has increased and worsened. So I would personally never say it's a natural disaster. It's a human induced disaster or a man-made disaster. So there's
Right.
still a lot of debates. So coming back to Kochi, like you were mentioning, so Kochi has a canal system, if you've seen. So there are a lot of canals. Just it's known for its canals.
Okay.
So how ideally it was previously that these canals were so broad that two boats could pass at one point, because these were only for commuting. The canals were their major transportation route. They commuted that way. एक जगह से दूसरे जाना, that was their mode of transportation.
Right.
But now they have reduced so much that forget a boat. Like at so many places, they've covered the whole drain. Like it has become a drain more than a canal. So one thing that could have been beautifully presented as Venice, how it
Right.
is there, has now been because of the human interactions and क्योंकि हम बड़ा करेंगे, it has just vanished. Like at places, like I was there in Kochi for a while, like 6 months I was there. There are so many canals जहाँ पर bridges के pipes वो आ रहे हैं, columns आ रहे हैं. So like imagine a pillar in between a canal. So you cannot use it for transportation, तो of course, but it's also putting in, holding in a lot of waste. The water is not flowing. उसका flow करने का जगह कम हो गई है. Green spaces have reduced, so there's no seepage. There are no more water bodies are shrinking because of all these human induced interactions, because we are concretizing everything. Because of that, all of this is reducing. So it's in itself is posing an issue on everything. So अब canal के पास जब पानी ही नहीं है, so Kochi, if you even geographically talk, it's a natural basin. It's a natural place जहाँ से बहुत जगहों से पानी आता है, and it has to go into the sea. And it has to happen naturally that way. From even the Western Ghats and all of that, the water should come to
Right.
Kochi and then go there. But now, and these canals used to help carry it to the sea. But now these canals are blocked. So every water that's coming from the Western Ghats, or there's a lake there, Periyar Lake, every water that's coming from there is being accumulated in Kochi. It's not reaching its destination. So those are the issues, and that's, we have created it.
Right.
It's not naturally that it had to stop that way, but we have created it. And everyone is being affected. Like people there are affected the most. But is anybody willing to change? No. Because there's so many people who have encroached the canals. उन्होंने अपने घर के पीछे एक canal view बना लिया, like a garden with a small body, and they'll kind of keep it clean and nice.
उतना ही area.
Utna area, because that's their property. Even though it's not their property, but they have made it into their property. How do we take it back from them? How do we bring in there? There's so many kind of, vegetations and species that are growing in the water, which are not local, which shouldn't grow, which are disrupting the flow of water. Which is, which is in a way, and then so much waste is going there. Like everything is connected. The waste, plastic, that everything is going in the water. The even there are so many households जो canal के पास हैं in Kochi, if I say, उनके घर का washroom का all the waste is going there. So imagine how contaminated is that body right now. And a place where we worship water bodies. Like we are India, culturally we should worship our water bodies, and this is what we are doing to our water bodies right now.
Right.
So yeah, it's messed up at a smaller scale, at a larger scale, at all scales.
It started as a small scale.
Yeah, it started as a small scale. एक से क्या होगा? But एक से ही start होता है. And it kept on
Correct.
increasing.
Are there any places like outside India, countries, places that you think have nailed this planning thing? Or maybe they're doing well with
Yeah.
their planning.
So it's very difficult to name one. And especially for India के perspective से, because India is a huge country and it has different geographies, which is our beauty. We have samundar, we have pahad, we have desert, we have plains, we have everything. So every section of India should learn from a different section of
we
the
cannot
world.
look up to one country.
Yeah, we cannot look up to one country. But instantly the countries that come to my mind, I think one would be Netherlands, because we were talking about flooding. Imagine Netherlands is the Amsterdam airport is -3 meters from the mean sea level.
Okay.
So it's below water, basically. But every year they pump water. Every day. Not every year. Every day they are pumping extra water so that the city never gets flooded. And the country, basically. It's a smaller country. Pehle they used to do it using windmills, which is why Amsterdam and everywhere, if you go, windmills are a huge thing because they used to pump out water. Now they have been, of course, technologically they've advanced. They've done that. So they're doing huge things for just water conservation and water safety. And their canals are clean like anything. You can go anywhere in Amsterdam. I was there to study water and for a while, and the canals are all connected. So you can go boat say anywhere to anywhere. So there's still houses there. Jisme you'll see that there's a small door at the back of their home, and there's a boat parked. So you just get down and get into your boat and go wherever you want to go. People cycle. People don't use electric vehicle any time there. Like it's a burden for them. They'll use public transport. They'll cycle. They'll use boats. So all of that has conserved that canal, and they clean it. They clean it a lot every year. Every now and then they are cleaned with every way, any way that they can. They have started working on coastal erosion, which is another very huge thing that India is also facing. But they have already started working on that. Of course, a huge part comes from the kind of money that they have and they put in these things. But they are doing great. They're doing great in water management. They don't have dry days. They don't have flooding days. Rotterdam is one. So Amsterdam is a naturally occurring city. Like naturally it was this way, canals and everything, and they preserved it that way. But because of World War, Rotterdam was bombed in World War II. So because of which it was all plain, most of it. So they built from scratch. So they build it in a very modern way. So if you want to see natural things, you go to Amsterdam. If you want to see mechanical and technology, you go to Rotterdam. And you see that they have done so much. So that was for flooding. For earthquakes, we always hear about Japan. The architecture that is there, it's amazing. They have places to move. Like the houses move and they come back to their own place. So they have designed it. They are way ahead in terms of their technology because they understood that, okay, this is their geography and this is going to happen. Now what can we do? They have come from that way. And even like in India, I would say vernacularly, if we go, like from historically, if we go, all the water bodies were connected everywhere, which is why it was flooding was never an issue, for example. Likewise, if you go into the traditional houses, if you'll go to Manali, there's a Kadguni kind of architecture, which has stone and wood. So wood absorbs all the shock. So if there's an earthquake or a landslide or something of that sort, it'll absorb all the shock, and they're not plastered. So you have place to move. The stones have place to move. So which is why the houses are preserved. If you go to Gujarat, Bhuj, again, they have bhunga houses, which are circular houses, very, very well suited for earthquakes. So even the Bhuj earthquake, which was a huge earthquake, all the modern buildings fell, but these bhunga houses did not. So because they are coming from the traditional wisdom of people and practices, they would have maybe, I think, researched on it that how it can be and come up with that. So even in India, we can learn from our past and come here. Like Bangalore is facing so much drought. Bangalore, mein people are putting air conditioners. What is it? Bangalore had so many water bodies. Like if you'll go and check into the numbers, half of the water bodies have just vanished. People have built on it because we need land to build. Now what will happen to that natural watersheds?
It's a tech city.
It's a tech city. So you just remove everything. You just build. Like, and it's not just Bangalore or anywhere, it's happening everywhere.
Right.
Like when I am from Lucknow. So there in front of me, I used to see a natural water body was there. And we knew that it's a pond, small pond, पानी वहीं पर collect होगा. So that was a natural flow कि पानी आएगा, यहाँ पर collect होगा, वो seep in हो जाएगा धीरे 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 धीरे, नहीं भी हुआ तो it's like a water body. But soon it was built into a building. पूरा उसको कवर किया, बिल्डिंग बना दिया. अब उस बिल्डिंग में फ्लड नहीं आएगा तो क्या होगा? लाइक ऑफ कोर्स द नेचुरल फ्लो विल बी देयर ना, पानी कहीं तो बहेगा. अभी वो बह के बिल्डिंग में जा रहा है, बिल्डिंग से ऑब्स्ट्रक्ट हो रहा है, यू हैव नथिंग.
सिटीज में अब तो लाइक देयर आर ओनली 2 to 3 लेक्स.
हाँ.
वो एक हॉटस्पॉट्स बन गई हैं.
हाँ, उसको बस अच्छे से सुंदर बना दो, दैट्स इट. ग्रीन एरियाज, मतलब पहले कितने मैदान होते थे व्हेन वी वर एज किड्स, यूज्ड टू सी
ओपन एरियाज बहुत
ओपन एरिया, सो दे यूज्ड टू अब्सॉर्ब सो मच वाटर. इस वजह से हमारे ग्राउंड वाटर टेबल्स वर सो गुड. वी हैड ग्रीनरी because of which all of this air pollution, heat and everything felt a little lesser. But now it's not.
ओपन ये सब था, प्लस द क्लाइमेट वाज फाइन, सो
Yeah.
एवरीथिंग वर्कड फाइन.
So I think every year I think it's a vicious cycle.
Right.
So it's happening because of these things.
You
If-
change one thing, it affects the
It
other.
affects the other. So today we are moving so much towards concrete. Everything is a concrete jungle. Concretize हो रहा है सब कुछ. Concrete absorbs a lot of heat, and रात में it radiates heat. So of course the urban heat island effect that you see, all of these pavements, all of these roads absorb a lot of heat. If it's a green area or if it's a water body or a कच्चा मिट्टी वाला area, they don't absorb that much heat as compared to a building. Or glass is our new favorite thing. We are making so many glass buildings.
It gets so hot because of that.
Exactly. And then you use more air conditioner, which again is affecting the climate and sustainability, and you're just running away with your electricity bill to hum de denge. But it's not happening.
I've seen like a lot of resorts जो
Yeah.
थोड़ा ऐसा remote areas में होते हैं. They've started making these mud houses.
Yeah.
And just like people want to experience that, and उसके लिए they
Exactly.
pay a lot.
Yeah, and like we do a little in housing also. Like I've worked, the place that I work at, we do a lot of housings also, houses, these kind of shelters. And we tested it, like a house with just a thatch roof, जो हमारी बहुत ही पुरानी चीज़ है, with mud plaster and bamboo. It was like 12 degrees better than outside. Better than a house that is built with normal concrete and brick. So imagine 12 degrees is a huge difference that you bring in.
Plus the health benefits.
Plus the health benefits. And you water the thatch once a day, it brings so much better results.
Air conditioner.
Air conditioning, natural air conditioning. People are moving towards a lot of natural resources and nature built solutions is what they call it now. But it's all coming from our old practices, and you can do it a little better. So this urban heat island effect, which are these fancy words that you hear these days, it's all that. Because of course urban heat island hoga, like an island is made and it's heating up because it's so concrete that there's nowhere that the heat is being absorbed, or it's all just radiating it, and you are then again adding up to, because AC चल रहा है उसमें से भी तो गर्म हवा निकलेगी. So it's a vicious circle. Traffic, all of it.
Let's talk about some solutions now.
Solutions.
इतनी सारी problems हैं.
तो उतने ही सारे solutions हैं. मतलब from macro to micro there are things that can be done at government level or a policy level पे things can be done. Then at corporate level, at NGO level, at a lot of institutional levels, everywhere it can be done. So I think we should narrow it down somehow.
We should focus on, like, we're living in Delhi.
Yeah.
So we can focus on air pollution, heat, and of course your niche is flooding. So we can cover that.
Yeah. So yeah, actually these are very major. So when we talk about Delhi, we always talk about कौन सा disaster season चल रहा है. It's flooding. अभी heat wave season चल रहा है. अच्छा, अब next क्या करना है? अभी flooding season आने वाला है. So you have just one breather month. Then you talk about that.
These are the new seasons.
These are the new seasons. You don't talk about summer, monsoon, winters. फिर winters नहीं आने वाले हैं. It's air pollution season that's coming in. So start prepping for that. Start talking about it. So in solutions, these can be very simple solutions to very complex ones. For example, if I start with the heat waves to be the first thing, and that solution is also different for heat wave specifically. I would say solution is different for different people. For example, a person coming from urban poor locality, जिसका एक slum है या informal settlement है, वहाँ पर even if slightest thing like a roof change, roof को change कर दिया हमने, because 80% of the heat in these informal settlements is absorbed using the roof, because walls exposed ही नहीं है sun पे. It's all coming from, because they're so joint and tightly packed. So it's all coming from the roof. So if you just change the roof, 80% of the problem is solved. So that's like the smallest thing that you can start for an urban poor population, who are affected the most, I would say. Coming from there to flooding, for example. Flooding maybe you and I at our levels cannot do a lot sitting in our rooms. But natural drains, drainage system. Delhi ka drainage system is quite obsolete
like
right now.
5-minute rain and
Exactly. So it is quite old.
Quite old.
And they haven't redesigned it ever. So even if we redesign it, we study the natural slopes, and it's something that we as urban planners or people who are sitting in authorities and those people can do. Ki how is the natural water flowing? Make sure it reaches its destination, which is Yamuna, for example, in this. Or if it is, if the slope is somewhere, you don't build there at least. Like the slope is ending somewhere.
Right.
You at least don't build there. You make a green place. You make a park, you make a water body, you make a wetland, you make a detention pond. There's so many things. And of course, you maintain it, make it as a tourist destination, tourist spot. But study about it.
Right.
Like at least design the roads के जो slope हैं, उनको at least we can respect the natural topography.
Right.
Instead of just going the way we want to, the slope that we want to make. For air pollution as well, I feel, of course, stubble burning and all of these things are an issue, which are huge issues. But apart from that also, it could be smaller things like traffic diversion, just understanding at a very local level that why is the air pollution of some places more than the others. For example, if you go to central Delhi, Lodi Road, there are sprinklers at a lot of places. So when the sprinklers sprinkle water, which is why monsoon may, or even in fog season, if it rains, the AQI reduces because the pollutants settle.
Right.
So sprinklers they are helping in reducing the heat also, cars pe, and it is also helping reduce the pollution. The trees of course help. So if you'll see South Delhi, Central Delhi, the reason they are better in heat, like lower temperatures, or they have lesser air pollution, is because they are much greener. The solutions are much more implemented here as compared to other sections of Delhi, where urbanization is more, concretization is more, increasing the heat, no greenery, no open spaces for it to absorb. So mindful planning, smallest things like when in the morning if you see jhadu lag rahi hoti hai, so the dust that comes from there also adds to the pollution.
Right.
So even if you segregate that and you don't have it at the time when it's peak office hours and every car is going at that time, like you're already creating a lot of pollution. This dust is adding to it.
That jhadu thing is going on. It's a ritual.
Yeah, it's a ritual, morning ritual, subah hoga. Yeah, construction sites. Construction sites also add to a lot of pollution. If you just change the timings and segregate it in a way that, it's at different times of the day, not all at one.
It'll balance.
Yeah. Even if you take a air purifier and you just see कि किस टाइम पे ज़्यादा होता है, या even in your phone if you monitor, you'll always see it is more in the morning when it's the peak traffic time and all of these chores are happening, and even when the school buses and school timing hai. Like my house is just near a school and the hike is insane at that time.
The air.
Exactly. And now everyone wants to drop their kids just near the school gate. Yeah. So no one is using, like people are either using school buses or you're being dropped at the gate. So that spikes up the heat like air pollution like anything at that time for me.
Right.
Likewise, when afternoon mein they are leaving. So for me, at a very hyper-local level, that school is an issue. Like that timing is an
And
issue.
it's still very early in the morning.
Yeah, it's very early in the morning. And then it doesn't come down because
I-
फिर office hours start हो
office-
जाएंगे. So very smaller things like segregation of time, just understanding that where is the air pollution coming from, why are some sectors more than some areas or some neighborhoods are more problematic than the others. Having industries a little like Delhi doesn't have that issue कि industries within the city ho, but a lot of places make industries outside where there's no residential areas. So all of those smaller things, I would
do you
say.
think the rise of EVs, especially like these days, will it help?
Yeah, EV is too new a concept to anyone for anyone to know. So there's a debate that goes on in it. A few say that it's really good because it's reducing all of this petrol consumption and thus carbon footprint is reducing. So EV is good. But there's another kind of debate that the batteries that are being made, how eco-friendly or sustainable are they?
Right.
How much pollution are they adding when they are being degraded?
Okay.
So you don't it's too new for like at least for me to say कि what is
They're
it.
still new abhi to.
They are very new. So ये दो concepts चल रहे हैं इसके भी. The debate is still on.
People
कि-
have started shifting to it rapidly now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can see.
And soon I think charging it would be an issue.
वही मतलब
And
even
electricity.
if we want to buy it, there's no place to charge.
Exactly. You have to put it in your building
So
for it to go.
maybe if it is it is a solution, तो उसके लिए we need to work
We need
on it.
infrastructure. So for every new solution, we need one kind of
There are,
infrastructure.
for example, if there are enough chargers in Delhi, if everyone has a charger in their home, तो लेकिन how will people travel? There's no
Longer
longer
distances.
distances. And if the chargers are installed, there's no electricity.
Exactly. Yeah, if you see on a solution basis, a very good resource
There's
that
a
we have.
Long chain of problems.
Exactly. A very good solution that we have is solar energy. So if you put solar panels, it's a very good solution in terms of using the natural resource and putting it to use. But where, how much, kahan tak you can go.
Right. That is
Hybrids are, I think, better in that way. EV plus petrol. So if you run out of charge, you switch to petrol.
Right.
Maybe.
Also, it's like if a car is like it's just standing on a signal, so it switches to
Yeah, it
battery.
switches.
That is a good
Yes,
solution.
hybrids do that.
So,
Or yeah, that is a good thing.
okay. The population is so much. It's
Yeah.
important for the people to understand.
Exactly.
If they start bringing the change,
Exactly.
then it'll happen.
Of course. And I think Delhi is, in a way, the metro is so good in Delhi.
Right, yeah.
So but the population is so much that
Public
even
transportation, people are using it.
yeah, they are using it.
Still, there are more people on the road.
Exactly. And I think there are more people on the road also because end-to-end connectivity is an issue. Like when you get down from the metro, वहाँ से घर तक how will you go? Like you have to take an auto or you have to walk. Walking के लिए it's maybe too hot. Maybe the footpaths are not great. Maybe this area is not so safe for the girls to walk at night. So you'll take an auto.
The air pollution is.
And the air pollution will or the humidity will make you breathless. So end-to-end connectivity is, I think, also a very major thing we should be talking in transportation, which is a totally different sector.
Right.
But yes, like in Amsterdam, like I was mentioning pehle, we only used public transport there. And it was so good. Like you get down somewhere, you have a tram connectivity. जहाँ पर tram नहीं जा सकती, वहाँ पे you have a bus connectivity. Like there'll be something. There's no place, or they'll drop you at a place where it's just like 500 meters. So which is walkable. Like 800 meters is considered walkable usually.
Right. Because it is walkable
It is.
environment.
Yeah, that too. Good footpaths
Ah,
and good air quality, of course.
right.
Good weather mostly, like in summers at least.
Also, I think these autos contribute a lot to that,
To
the pollution?
yeah, so they are CNG, they say. तो उतना नहीं as compared to a petrol car that a person is driving. But yes, thoda to everything does. People cycle a lot. Like here it's not a lot, but Ahmedabad mein when we used to live, I did my masters from there. Most of our batchmates and even professors had taken bicycles
In Ahmedabad?
in Ahmedabad, even though it's so hot.
हाँ.
They used to come in the morning bicycle से, and रात में जब निकलेंगे तो it's slightly better, so they'll use their bicycles. Or they'll so there were bike sharing centers also outside every BRTS is bus rapid transport system, so you have a very good network of these buses there. So at every station you'll have a YOLO bike or something of that sort. You rent it and then you can go to your college.
Right.
So a lot of people, because it's a college centric area, NID, IM, CEPT, all of these, so you use bicycles
I
there.
think a similar concept is there, but
People are not using it enough.
I don't think those bikes have survived.
Yeah. I think that's a cultural shift.
हाँ.
Matlab, when I see in Ahmedabad, people still want to do it. Like they want to bring about a thing. Maybe because like my institute was that way. So I used to see my professors cycling. Because I come from, it's a university called CEPT University.
Okay.
So it's about sustainability, and we talk about that a lot. So my professors used to cycle. So we used to get inspired and cycle. So maybe it was that. But even if 5 people are doing it, it's good. At least some change is coming up,
Right.
if not everything.
I had one question.
Yeah.
पता नहीं, but पूछ लेते हैं. So for example, for example, there's a crash. Does the plane crash? Do all of these things also come under disaster management?
So this is a human man-made disaster, like human disaster. This is not a human-induced disaster, or they do come as disasters, like accidents, like plane crashes, like terrorist attacks. All of these are disasters. Wars. All of these are disasters, but they are occasional. They are sometimes due to mechanical failure or these things, but they are a little separate from
Right.
these kind of
but
disasters.
There is some kind of planning.
Yeah. There are. So the one thing is called standard operating procedures. So you have standard operating procedures for all of the government departments to how to respond to these kind of casualties if they occur. Like even if landslide happens somewhere, तो कुछ गाड़ियाँ फंसेंगी उसके नीचे. People might die. How to rescue them. So a fire department will be responsible for it because they'll rescue it, or a police department will be there. So again, a mix of departments who will have their own set of SOPs. But that's something, like accidents are still very frequent and we don't talk about it enough. Car accidents and road accidents. But these kind of things are very rare. Like be it a plane crash or... but even for airports or for railway lines, there are disaster management plans. So if some disaster occurs while the train is on the rail, you have a management plan that what has to be done immediately and how should you prepare better. Like what all should you have to have it better. For example, a tunnel, like when there's a long tunnel and the train is passing through it, whatever fire catches. So you have sprinklers for that in the tunnel.
Okay.
So that if it happens, the sprinklers open and the loss of life is lesser. So these things you can anticipate and still plan better. But not a tragedy like a plane crash that happened.
Of course.
But yeah, there are things like that. Plans for all of these. Road accidents is one thing that we should be talking more about. Like I was talking to someone 2-3 days back, and that person was saying me dying in a war or me dying in a plane crash is a very less probability as compared to me dying from an accident.
there was some kind of like report on where is it most dangerous to drive in the world. So it was just like, oh, Indonesia is at the 10th place
Yeah.
and India was at number 1. So I was like, oh, uska mention Indonesia ka topic tha. So it's like,
Yeah.
it is correct. Like, how experienced are we as drivers here?
Exactly.
And yes,
That and also the road design. You cannot just blame on the driver. Of course, that's an issue. But the junction design, road design, everything plays a very important role. Like you'll see few junctions are there just पे ज़्यादा ही road accidents हो रहे होंगे.
right, that comes under those
Planning. So transport planners plan these roads, and junction design is in itself a huge thing. That how do you design a junction well? It's not just a circle that you put in. Where to put the traffic lights, that it is better managed.
Right.
So people are now, like a lot of state governments are working on accidents, and they're trying to reduce accidents. Like I think if I'm not wrong, every day more than 500 accidents on an average happen, car accidents. So imagine, even if one person is there in the car, 500 people are dying daily of car accidents, as compared to n number of people dying at some other place. This is 500 daily, which is a lot.
Yes, it is like, like someone told me, like, aeroplane is the safest mode of transport, and going to the airport is the most dangerous
thing. That is true.
So, definitely.
But again, you never know with whatever happened lately.
Yes.
What happens, what not. We can prepare, we can respond, and we can recover.
Right.
But preparedness, I think, abhi bhi we in India, I think it's a slight issue that we don't prepare well. We wait for it to happen to respond to it, because this is our common mentality in everything. जब होगा तब देखा जाएगा.
कुछ नहीं होगा.
हाँ, कुछ नहीं होगा. जब होगा तब देखा जाएगा. तब का तब देखी जाएगी. So that happens everywhere in India. Ki we'll not prepare that well. For everything we can prepare well, but are we? That's a question, I think.
Right. Lastly, anything you're looking forward to working on?
Lots of it. I feel if I can bring about change in one person's life, it's a huge thing. So yes, passionately I would want to do something for flooding, urban flooding, as well as naturally occurring flooding like Kochi or Surat or cities like these in India. And urban flooding, be it Delhi, be it any other city. So that would be, I think, one passion piece that I thrive to achieve sometime in my life.
Already made changes.
Not in flooding yet, because it has to come at a policy level. It cannot be done at a smaller scale. Yeah, things have changed in terms of heat, like retrofitting roofs just to reduce the temperature of a person's house. So those are the smaller changes that I think I've brought until today. But I think, yeah, one major thing on flooding is what I aspire to do and solve issues.
Any place or country you want to visit specifically?
Actually, I want to travel the whole world, because I think every city has something to learn from. You may say that it's an undeveloped city या country, इसमें तो कुछ नहीं है सीखने को, but if we go there, we learn what not to do. You can learn that also. So I think I love traveling. I want to travel every city in the world as much as possible. But to name just the immediate one, I think I would be Japan. That would be the next one. I want to literally study their culture. How have they thrived? How are they? Their
I'm doing
history.
that right now. So yes, definitely. Japan is nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for doing this. This was so much fun.
It was pleasure just talking like that and just putting everything, because no one listens to us in our daily life.
Yes, and we can do this again if you want.
Yes.
Yes, I would love
Focusing on
to know
something.
more when you work on more projects.
For sure.
And thanks again.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for
All
having
right.
me.
Bye-bye.